and welcome to the program Inside Abuja. I am Iharo Atta. The program, as you know, is designed to showcase the activities of the Federal Capital Territory Administration and those managing the city, as well as sustaining the master plan as designed by its founding fathers. Sometimes you all believe that master plan has to do only with land and infrastructural development. Then you would be getting it fully wrong. On issues of the Abuja master plan, if you do not know, you just need to know that now. The master plan also entails health sector master plan, transportation master plan, education master plan, infrastructure master plan, that's the one you know, and master plan in almost all sectors of the Federal Capital Territory. And on this program, we showcase to you and discuss with the persons driving the city and driving very critical sectors of the Federal Capital Territory. I am Iharo Atta again, and today on the program, we would be looking at the base of education. You know, oftentimes we've been told over the years, again and again, that education remains the best legacy anyone can give to his or her child. But somehow, when we talk about education, we talk about it and look at it mainly from the point of the secondary and tertiary education. But some other persons who are key stakeholders believe that when the foundation is weak and faulty, certainly any building or any structure placed on it will not stand. We want to look at primary education, and we'll be discussing this morning with Dr. Adamu Ajatao Noma MNI. He is the director of the FCT Universal Basic Education Board. A very wonderful day, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, let's start very clearly. How are the FCT primary schools faring?
Well, thank you very much. FCT Universal Basic Education Board is charged with the responsibility of providing basic educational services to children resident in the Federal Capital Territory. The basic educational services include those educational services that have to do with primary and junior secondary school, as well as early child care development education centers. That is what we do. As we talk now, we have about 601 primary schools under the purview of the FCT Universal Basic Education Board. Now, we have 167 junior secondary schools under the purview of the FCT Universal Basic Education Board, as well as 385 early child care development education centers in the Federal Capital Territory. Now, in FCT, we have our primary schools spread across the 6 area councils. Now, the numbers are not the same because the area councils, by landmass, they are not equally distributed. So, it is our responsibility to make sure that we manage this. Now, the basic educational services that we provide are compulsory, they are free, they are accessible, affordable, and qualitative. These are the kind of services that we provide. And we ensure that wherever our schools are located in FCT, we make sure that these qualities are enshrined in whatever services we give. So we have been doing very, very well with the resources that are made available to us. Now, how do we provide primary educational services? 1, we establish primary schools. 2, when we establish primary schools, we build structures, we build classrooms. 3, we recruit teachers that will go and teach. 4, we mobilize parents to send their children to school. 5, we make sure that teachers teach their lessons. 6, we make sure that instructional materials are provided to this school. And 7, we make sure that there are security services provided so that every child and teachers will be willing to remain in these schools to learn.
Now, sir, while we discuss all of this, the question many may be asking you is the question coming from the Kaduna State ongoing controversy over teachers' qualification and competence. Are the teachers that teach your children in primary schools and junior secondary that are under you, how competent are they?
Well, I will say boldly here that in the Federal Capital Territory, all our teachers have a minimum qualification of NCE.
No grade 2?
No grade 2. Nobody that has a qualification less than NCE teaches in our public schools in FCT. We have, even primary school, we have teachers who have PhD.
Primary schools?
Yes, primary school teachers. We have teachers who have a PhD. We have teachers who are running their PhD degrees. We have so many with masters teaching even in primary school, in our public schools. So as far as paper qualification is concerned, our teachers are well qualified to teach in our basic schools, particularly at the primary school level. However, having qualification may not be the same as having the ability, having the pedagogical ability to teach well. So as far as paper qualification is concerned, our teachers are not substandard.
But beside that now, one thing that defines education is interest. Some persons may have all the PhD, they may have all the MSc, they may have everything you need, the NCE, the B.Ed and all of that. But when it comes to classroom teaching, the deliverables, can they deliver?
Yes, we know that. You see, it is unfortunate there are people who have found themselves in the teaching service, but are not quite interested in teaching. It is unfortunate that we have such kind of people who think they are just using education or teaching as a stepping stone, so that when they get other appointments that they desire to have, then they leave teaching and go to those places. However, we have so many people who are interested in teaching. But what we do here is that anywhere we go, when I meet with teachers, when I meet with principals, when I meet with head teachers, and all other people who provide basic educational services in the Federal Capital Territory, in terms of public schools, we try to encourage them that as long as they remain in the teaching service in FCT, they should have that passion. They should begin to develop that interest in teaching children. So we have to encourage them that there is nothing wrong for them. I always tell them that, look, if God wants you to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you will, even from classroom, they will call you to come and contest for the presidential seat. We have examples in FCT here, where principals, head teachers, and teachers have been called from their classroom to go to become commissioners in their respective states, and even ministers. We have.
But some people believe that when you teach, you don't make so much money.
Well, yes, that one is
you can't move some very sensitive file. You can't pull out some big money.
No, that is it.
You just earn only your salary.
If you are looking for money, then you have to run away from education. But I want to tell you that it doesn't stop there. I always tell our teachers that, look, the blessings teachers receive is unquantifiable. You can't quantify the blessing that you receive. I always tell our teachers that when you teach and your children are happy, it is showers of blessings on you. But they may not know. I always give them several examples.
While we look at the blessings here, can you think we need to pay more for your teachers in primary schools and junior secondary?
Oh, yes. Oh, that one is sure. That, you see, when you are a teacher, teachers equally want to live well. We don't want to live a wretched life. We want to live because we live in a larger society.
What if you get your reward in heaven?
No, we'll get there. Heaven surely is for teachers.
Reward is in heaven.
Oh, even here, but here, while we are here, we should get our worldly reward before we go to heaven.
And get the heavenly reward.
Yes, we should get our worldly reward here before we go to heaven. But I want to tell you that, see, any teacher who devotes himself to teach well will always remain a happy person.
Okay, if you're just joining us, the program is Inside Abuja. We have been speaking with the Director, Universal Basic Education Board of the FCTA. He is Dr. Adamu Jatao Noma, MNI, and he have taken us through some of these issues of passion. We'll take a break. When we return from the break, the program will continue. The program is still Inside Abuja. It's now time for me to ask you some cross about what transpired the other time at Kubwa, where many persons allege that some persons under your school ate biscuit with mysterious biscuit and died. What's the update now?
Well, it was an unfortunate situation, that situations were misinterpreted. Health Services Secretariat has already come out with their findings that there was nothing that had to do with eating biscuits. It was meningitis, and that's all. It's really unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate.
But they said there was a birthday party and people ate
It is
biscuits.
not true. Not in that.
Okay, can you give us a little bit detail here? Because what parents believe out there is that
no. Parents have been told. They have been told that they know. They have been told that there was nothing like that. Thorough investigations have been made, and there was nothing like that. So there was no issue of somebody giving somebody biscuits. Look, let me tell you, we teach in our schools on daily basis during assembly that on no account should anybody eat anything from anybody unless those authorized by their own parents. If your parents has told you that if so person gives you something like this, you take. They know. The children, they know. It's just like I will tell them they should not accept lift from anybody. We tell them. So there wasn't anything like that. Thorough investigations have been made. Nothing like that.
But how come they all died within the same period?
No, it was just a coincidence. Do you know that even those children, teachers say those children were even permitted to go home when they complained that they were not well, to even go home, and they left. And even teachers assigned somebody who escorted them to their houses, only for the following day for them to die early morning, and a different story was coming out to say that they ate a biscuit. It's not true. The records are there. Teachers, when they complained that they were not well, they properly followed the right channel. Their teachers permitted them, and they even assigned some students to see them off to their houses, and they were escorted. So that is it. So it is unfortunate. Now the implication is that means even those who were dying, because these ones were school pupils. What of those who were not as students? Those who were not as school pupils. Nobody took cognizance of the fact that they were dying as a result of meningitis.
Okay, but if we look at that now, let's look at the issue of security in your schools. How safe are the schools?
Our schools are very, very safe. We try as much as we can to make sure that we provide security. Look, security does not necessarily mean that you have to build perimeter fence before you say your schools are properly secure. Look, building perimeter fence around our school is capital intensive. So that is why we now have to prioritize. Do we build the school perimeter fences first, or we build the classrooms? Ordinarily, nobody right-thinking person will say, go and build a school fence and you leave a classroom, then children will go and sit under trees. No, we build classrooms. Then for the security, we now know how to devise, how to check security situation in the school, and we do it. We warn the students. Anywhere they see anybody suspicious, somebody, they report immediately. We have seen somebody there. They go there to find out who are you. They do that. So the students know. And ordinarily, you cannot go to school and call any child, come, let me send you. When they don't know you, they will run away from you, or they'll shout. We have taught them all these things. So, and when they go home too, I urge parents too to conscientize them, to continue to tell them what to tell them. Whatever we tell them in school, when they go home, parents will reiterate some of those things. Tell them that if you see anybody who calls you and you don't know him, he is not a teacher, is somebody you have never seen, don't go near him or her. We will tell them.
But why you do all of this? Do we have some presence of security operatives, some security personnel like civil defense and others in the schools?
Oh yes. You see, we have a civil defense, we have a royal guards in some of our schools. The number is not enough to go around our school. You had the number of our schools we have, because if we have, they will not be able to pay this. But I want to tell you that in every community we have a vigilante group, because the schools are.
I mean, you partner them.
Yes. Oh yes. Every community has a vigilante group that oversees the security system in the schools located within their communities. We have that. And then where the PTA is buoyant enough, they formally engage some people to take charge of security situation in their respective schools. So we have this, all this will put them into place.
So you are showing that as far as ST school is concerned, now it's very fortified and very
fortified and safe.
Okay, now let's go to another issue very quickly as time flies. What about the homegrown school feeding program?
No, the FCT is yet to start.
But
Arrangements have been made.
I thought we had one before we were doing before at some other time in the past.
Oh yes, that was then.
Now, so now, how far is the arrangement going for you to key in?
At our own level, we have finished, and I think the Honorable Minister of FCT is so anxious for the program to take off in FCT. He's doing everything possible to make sure that it commences.
Now, there are proponents and exponents of that idea of homegrown school feeding program. What do you think? Some are saying it's not too ideal. Some are saying it's ideal. It will encourage the children to go to school. Some are saying no, it may not even be safe. Some of the foods are not well cooked. But where do you stand?
Let me tell you, whatever quantity of a food is that it will be given to students, it has a lot of advantages. One, it encourages pupils to come to school. It encourages them to remain in school. It encourages them to transit. It encourages them to be healthy. So the advantages of the homegrown school feeding in our primary school, in fact, there's no disadvantage. There's no disadvantage. Let me tell you, in the past, when it was practiced, you know that even some parents were going to school to eat food. The other one, when the federal government launched the other one, then I was a local government education secretary. It was launched under me. It was launched under me. The federal government launched that program under me, and I know how that program went through. It was very, very successful. This one too, once it starts, you see our enrollment will increase. Students will remain in school. They will be very happy. They will remain in school. They will be healthy. It's just like you are asking somebody what are the advantages and disadvantages of eating. Eating, does it have any disadvantage? When you give somebody food, does it have any disadvantage? So once we start the program, you see our enrollment will jump from where we are now to an unprecedented figure. Because parents too will be happy to bring their children. The children will be eager to come to school. They will remain in school. They will transit from one class to the other, and then they will remain in school to complete their school system. So the advantages are so enormous, and that is one of the reasons why the Honorable Minister of FCT is anxious for the program to take off in FCT, and he's doing everything to make sure that the program commences in FCT.
Okay, let's look at let's go back to the issue of teachers now. Let's look at your teachers. How are they being monitored and supervised from the board?
At the board level, we supervise, we monitor our school. Just yesterday, the Secretary for Education, our chairman, myself, and other staff, we went to some of the schools to see what is happening in our schools, and we saw them. We saw where we have a dilapidated structure. That he confirmed it, that when we write a report, that we still have schools that are looking like this. He confirmed that yesterday. So our schools are very, very good. Very, very good. But I want people to know that there is no way we can make our schools look all beautiful at the same time. It's not possible because of the number and because of the amount of money we need to put them in that shape. It is not easy. But I want to assure you that by the grace of God, the rate at which the Honorable Minister of FCT is supporting us, before middle of next year, all our schools in FCT, as far as basic education is concerned, all our schools will be very, very child-friendly. They'll be looking very, very beautiful.
But if we look at the schools in central area, Maitama, Wuse, Tudunwada, even the barracks, are giving priority when it comes to structures than the one in Robochi and Gidang and Gudun Karia. Why?
It is not true.
But this ones here look very good. We see story buildings, everything around, and we don't see them in those areas in Robochi.
Yes, we have story buildings in the city center here because there is no land. In rural areas, we still have abundant land, so we expand horizontally. But in terms of the city centers here, land is not there, so we have to go vertically.
But many believe that's color. It makes it look modern.
No, not necessarily. No, we build even upstairs rural schools too. We have them. There are rural schools that have upstairs too. But what I'm saying is that one of the reasons why you see story buildings in the city center is because there is no space. So the only option we have to increase the number of classes is to go upstairs, is to go vertically, and that's all. But I want to tell you that we don't pay undue attention to the city center. No, it is not true. But whatever services we do, we spread them out because the number of schools are many. And that is why sometimes the effects are not easily noticed.
As my time flies very quickly, how do you feel carrying the load of neighboring communities? That means a research made by independent television, ITV, and some other media houses showed that your schools in the Yanyan flank, Yanyan Karo, take students largely from the Maraba, Masaka, Ado, one-man village, even to Uke. Your school in Zuba takes from Suleja, takes from the other stretch. Your school in Abaji takes from some communities around. Your schools in Karishi takes from neighboring communities in Nasarawa State, like those from Pianko, those from Kurape, those from Takalafia, those from Bakin Uza, those from Rafin Kwara. How do you feel taking from neighboring community and carrying the load?
Well, you see, all the areas you have mentioned, they are still our staff that are staying there.
But there are areas in other states.
Well, but there are staff of FCT that are resident in Nasarawa State. Okay. So we have no reason to reject their children. And of course, for us, one of the basic principles of universal basic education is to make sure that every child is in school. So once we have our school and any child comes, any parent brings his child, we don't need to know where you are coming from. We admit your child because we want children to be in school.
Yes, sir. What's your final word?
Well, I want to appeal to the general public to partner with us in the provision of basic educational services in FCT. And how do we want them to do that? They can give us support. One, they can adopt our schools. They can adopt classes. They can adopt children. Now, what do I mean here? Take, for instance, at the lowest level. Okay, let me start at the highest level. You can go to any school, look at the structures, look at whatever is there, see what can you do to make your impact felt there. We'll appreciate it. You can take a classroom and renovate it. That is one.
Or you can go and even name it after them.
Yes, we will name it after you. That it was done by you. We will do that. Or you can go to a particular class and say, this class, you want to adopt this classroom. Whatever the class needs, you are going to provide them. You see, by doing that, you are supporting us. You are making things easy for us. So I'm appealing to the general public to do that so that children will be motivated to go to school. Because there are children that actually come from very poor family backgrounds. And such children, you know, when they come to school, they are always not comfortable. So that will be a motivating factor for children to go to school. And we'll be very happy for anybody to come and say he wants to do that. If you want to do it quietly, just go to any school. Introduce yourself to any class teacher. Will allow you to give them. Or if you want to make it official, you can write to us. We'll direct you. And then we guide you on how to go about it. So thank you very much. And I hope with the little I have said, people will try to adopt our children, adopt our schools, adopt our classes, adopt our program, so that together we will make universal basic education system in FCT a very big success.
Okay, thank you very much. That has been a very nice one with Dr. Adamu Ajatao Noma. So we want to go to some of your schools now. We just look at them briefly before we end the program. Is that permitted?
Yes. No problem.
Okay, thank you very much. That's how far we can go on this interview segment with him in the office. Let's check one or two schools around the FCT. Once we are done with that, we'll be ending the program. But this is an unending discourse. When we need Mr. Dr. Noma again, we will be coming to speak with him. But one thing you must know about Dr. Noma, I did not tell you. For those of us who saw him going through NIBS and rising through to the point where he was head of the Secondary Education Board and now heading UBEB to build the foundation strongly for the children. He started as, let me use the word, an ordinary teacher. And he grew and rose through the ranks and served in most of these dark corners of the FCT. And today, he sits down here in this beautiful office in Gariki district of the nation's capital city. Let's quickly head to the schools. When we get to the schools and discuss, we'll end the program subsequently. The program continues after this break. Welcome to Festival Road Primary School located in Gariki district of the FCT. Indeed, a wonderful, serene environment. Let's just, if we can just turn around so that you can take a glimpse of the environment and you can appreciate it very, very well, how serene this place could be. That tells you how good the FCT administration is performing when it comes to the issue of standard of school. For those of us who have mindset that government schools are already having bad structures, but for this one is something that many believe is worth emulating by other states of the federation. Let's now go inside the class and see what they are doing there. Thanks for following us through. Indeed, it's a wonderful time coming into the classroom here to see what the FCT administration is doing. But my mind was taken off to something else. I was shocked on entering this classroom to discover that some Korean diplomats have their children actually in government schools in the FCT at the time, sadly, when most of us may likely not believe. The two pupils you see here in this class are students of Korean diplomat here. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
What is your name?
Kim Chul-un.
Oh, Kim Chul-un. The Korean children here, their parents decide to put them in government-owned school. Can our politicians and political elite do same by bringing their kids to government-owned school and patronize a wonderful time going through such a wonderful and beautiful class? A very, very nice one. Let's just hope we quickly learn from all of this. Thanks indeed for following us through and being part of this wonderful edition of the program Inside Abuja, when we centered around primary education. I'm Iharo Ata saying goodbye. Have a lovely, fulfilling and a pleasant day.